Today I'm checking out a Sire guitar. This is the Larry Carlton L5. Now this did come double box. I just didn't want to spend all the time opening, the first box knowing that there was a wedge box in here. Okay, and nice little touch there from the store. There's a little piece of cardboard underneath there. I usually put paper when I ship mine, so smart. If you guys don't know to do that, it's a great way to stop the strings from scratching or scarring the frets. The top on this is gorgeous, so let me share that with you. Obviously, this is to compete with Epiphone, and there's a couple reasons why I think it's going to do a really good job at that. Locking keys, which is nice. And one other thing I really like is obviously gloss body and back, but satin neck, and the satin neck feels really, really good. This is an Indonesian made guitar, priced at about comparable to what Epiphone is putting out. What does it come with? It comes with the adjustment tool, or the Allen wrench, for the truss rod. And it looks like it's down tuned, so we'll tune it up. Let me grab a tuner. There we go. All right, so in tune. All right, now that we're tuned up, let's go ahead and look at the action. We're gonna go ahead and press our finger on the first fret, put our thumb on the last fret, and kind of tap on the string, and look at that, and that looks great. So that looks good. So we're gonna check the action to see, and we're looking at this from the 12th fret, from the top of the 12th fret to the bottom of the low E string. We have 1.75 millimeters, and we have on the high E 1.25 millimeters. Now, so what you'll notice with most guitars shipping to you is you're going to be about 2 to 2.5 millimeters from the 12th fret. It seems to be where they like to ship the guitars, manufacturers that is. It seems to be a sweet spot for that. So that's where we're at with that. And of course the neck has got a proper amount of relief, and we'll check the nut in a second. It has a mahogany body with mahogany neck. It does have a full maple cap on it, but this is a maple veneer. So it's maple cap and then you get the maple veneer, which is the way you're going to see a lot of these guitars done. It does have a tune-o-matic bridge, which we know, but this is aluminum or aluminium for our friends overseas. What's nice is that it's supposed to reduce the weight, but of course this guitar is 9 pounds, which is a typical weight for a guitar like this is 9 pounds, but sometimes you get lucky and they get a little lighter. Fretboard material is ebony with rolled fretboard edges. So let's see. Yeah, I would consider that rolled for sure. Not super rolled edges, but definitely rolled. Okay, 12-inch radius fretboard, medium jumbo frets, ivory binding, so of course it's ivory colored. Nut is bone. Okay, so it's a bone nut, quality nut. It looks really nice. It looks like it was cut really nice, really well too. By appearances alone, I'm impressed with the guitar. The pickups are called Larry Carltons, which makes sense because it's the Larry Carlton model, but there's no specifications. Let's go ahead, since we're talking about that, let's see what they're reading at. We'll know if they're, turn all these controls on 10. This is just going to give us a general idea. I'm showing the bridge pickup at 7.9, okay? So yeah, low output. That would be like a 57, 59 pickup, maybe even a little lower, because those are going to be probably in the 8 range. The neck at 7.5. So yes. So obviously with Larry Carlton, he was going for something smooth. These pickups should be really articulate, warm sounding. Let's go ahead and see how the fretwork plays out. One thing I will caution you is sometimes when you're using a fret rocker, you might find just a little bit of a click, right? Won't be dramatic. I just did it to this guitar and I just heard it do it a little bit, and where it was doing it, the notes were fine. Sometimes, they're not going to be perfect, just a little bit of variance. So the trick with the fret rocker, well, you don't fix it unless you hear a problem. So you really want to check it sometimes just through the mysteries of the wood and the shaping and the neck and the bow and the frets and just everything going on with the guitars. Sometimes things are imperfect. Play perfect. So definitely play it. That's the best way to get a sense of this. The tools and the way we're doing this on this channel is to show you how we discover the problems. But essentially, if you play the guitar and you're happy with it, the problems are irrelevant. So be aware of that. What I see is very polished, very rounded frets. We use a nylon sock to test this. The frets are, I want to point this out because it's very important, they are very rounded and very nice looking at them. Here we go, we have a clean sock to test with. And again, this is something, so I don't do the socks for repairs and setups. This is just something I do to illustrate to you guys. Okay, so go ahead and catch. Oh yeah, nice. And you can see maybe a little teeny mark right there in the corner of my hand where I think one of the frets around here caught, but no. And then the top, which was really bad, same thing, it's fine. So again, and I use the same song for both sides. You can really see that it's really just not catching at all. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our ring finger and press it on the 3rd fret, and we're gonna go just lightly tap on the 1st fret to see what the distance is between the fret. And when I do that, it's pretty much laying on the fret. I like that, that's the way I like it. Sometimes you just want a little bit of a gap, like the thickness of a piece of paper, and just go through all of them. This is a flawless nut. Wow, yeah, flawless. It's absolutely flawless. Next feature on the guitar I want to point out is this really amazing neck carb. I love this. I call this the handshake, right? Where you grab a guitar right there and see how it feels. Man, you can see, this is a 9-pound guitar. It just feels perfect. I couldn't imagine if this guitar was in the 8-pound range, how just perfect that would feel to me. But really, the 9 pounds, it doesn't feel too bad on this guitar. So what I have here is a bunch of jigs for different neck profiles. And so this is definitely like the 50s era Les Paul shape. So if you're familiar with that shape, that's gonna be it, but it's a lot thinner. And we will check that right now as well. We have 22.77 millimeters on the 12th fret, and we have 21.89 millimeters on the 1st fret. So obviously a lot thinner than a 50s Les Paul, but definitely in that shape. Looking in the electronics, we definitely see the large alpha pots, which are very common. You're gonna see that pretty much as the standard for import guitars. We have shielding paint. Looks like they've totally shielded in the cavity, which is nice. They've also made sure to foil the back cover. Wires look standard, very inexpensive capacitors. Something I almost missed, there's treble bleeds on both the volume pots. So this is pretty cool. We're gonna mess with these and see how good they sound on this particular guitar. This is something you see on Paul Reed Smith's, Ibanez's, and some other guitars as well. Because of this modification, what's gonna happen is it's gonna sound really crisp and clear all the way down to where the volume is off. And I'm gonna demonstrate that right now. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you the neck pickup, the middle pickups, the 2 humbuckers, the bridge pickup, and the middle pickups with the volumes halfway back, and to show you how it kind of sounds, kind of like a Strat. Got a single coil tone, no 60 cycle hum, sounds great. So as you can see, that's pretty versatile for a guitar. One thing I want to talk about, some other things that we didn't cover when we did the inspection, was it is a scarf joint guitar. So it's a mahogany neck. There's a scarf joint right here. What that means is it's a 2-piece neck. And this does not have the extreme 17-degree angle that Gibson has. This is more the 14-degree angle you see on Epiphones. I also want to point out how much I love this headstock, and it looks really cool. One thing I have to tell you is, I know this guitar is 9 pounds, but it's balanced really well. Sometimes when guitars, especially Les Paul style guitars, are heavy, one of the problems I have is not standing with them, because if I stand with them, I have a strap, and I can use a wider strap, and it's fine. So when I complain, or when I talk about how I don't like the heavier Les Pauls, it's not about standing on stage. I'm sure it wears you down over time, but most of the time I'm not playing one guitar for an entire set list. However, in this case, one of the things I don't like about really heavy Les Pauls is when you sit with them, I feel like it's just trying to fall back because there's just all this weight right here. This guitar balances really well. I'm not doing anything. This is for real. I just discovered I could do that. In fact, just to make it nervous, I'll move a little bit and you can see, there it goes. But so, I mean, it's balanced, and this could again be luck of the draw. One thing that's great about videos like this wasn't sent to us by Sire Guitars. I've never met those guys, don't know them. This was just bought off Reverb, off of a store on Reverb, and to give it a try. And I have to say, I'm super impressed. The neck, again, like I said, I know I said it's a 50 shape, and that's just the C shape. I don't want you to think it's a chunky neck. It's not. It's a very small neck. In fact, I would consider it smaller than a Fender American Strat or a Players Series Stratocaster, just by a little bit. And of course, you can check the measurements I gave you earlier against what they specify that is, but feel-wise, it feels a little smaller. So whether it is or isn't is up to the specifications, but I'm talking about the feel. So what we have now is my Dirty Shirley 20-watt mini head hooked into a 112 vintage 30 cab with a Caverns, Keeley Caverns delay reverb in the effects loop and SM57 miking that up. Let's go through it, start with the bridge, and let's give that a shot. I would guess this guitar is way more expensive than this. It feels just really high end. Now you got that middle position. Let's do that. Not my favorite. So a couple things to mention before I go. The guitar was shipped with 10 to 46 gauge strings, which felt pretty good. The other thing that's really important to note is the guitar had no tuning issues. I tuned it up maybe 2 times tops when I first got it out of the box, and then maybe again after a day or two of playing it. The tuning stability was fantastic. As always, I want to thank you guys so much today for hanging out towards the end of the video. And I want to let you know the next guitar we're going to be reviewing on the channel is this Reverend made in USA. This is a discontinued guitar, but I'm reviewing a made in Korea modern Reverend guitar. But I wanted a reference, so here's a made in USA guitar that they don't make anymore, and I'll give you guys the ins and outs, what I think of that, and then we'll see, do I like it better than the new made in Korea stuff, or is it just as good? We'll see. As always, I want to thank you so much for your time. To the next time, know your gear. In today's video, I want to do a huge shout out to Asher for supporting the channel and for showing us his amazing instruments. Thank you, Asher.